Hello everybody, my name is JX. Today we're going to be looking at the ability tree guide. It's going to be coming out here in Global pretty soon, and I'm going to kind of go over a couple things again that most people may have forgotten. I'm also going to link my friend Zenrot's video, who made a early guide pretty much the day this was released back in Japan. So this is going to be pretty much a recovering of that with maybe some additional things. So without any further ado, we're going to take a look here. You might be thinking to yourself immediately like, oh dude, I'm going to be able to max all my characters past their max limits. Like, I have so many URs ready to like activate. Yeah, we all kind of thought the same thing, but you got to understand, this is Dokkan, and Dokkan always has gates. So let's go ahead and look at the first obstacle you're going to have to get past. Once this is added into the event system, you'll notice it immediately. By clicking on it, when global hits 2, it'll be very obvious, but I'll tell you anyways. The very bottom right here, it has 2. That means I have 2 tries left at this stage here for today, and it will reset in 7 hours here on the left. You start with 3 a day, which can sometimes be upgraded to 5 a day, and on weekends, or it's a special occasion, they'll let you do every single one 5 times for that day. But we're going to jump into the stage for only one reason, just to show you where each orb is. It seems like it'd be a very simple and obvious thing, but sometimes it's not quite that straightforward until you kind of play it around with it. Obviously, you look here on the map, it's like, whoa, that looks like all the same stuff, but the one thing that catches your eye immediately is the blue puddles. Jump into a blue puddle and get some orbs. It's like, oh, cool, I got some orbs. Those are the little abilities you're going to be using to unlock your characters. Looking immediately, we have 3 characters. Another thing is like, oh man, I just want to go fight whichever character looks the prettiest. Well, you can't really do that because you actually have to realize every character has a point here. The tier 1 character, the one I'm directly in front of, will only drop small orbs. The tier 2 character, the one in the middle row, will only drop medium orbs. And the tier 3 character, the one on the far right, will only drop large orbs. So you have to realize and understand like, alright, what character do I want to upgrade and what orbs does he need? Because if you come in here 3 times that day and fight the very first guy here, well, all you're going to get is small orbs and occasionally some other orbs by picking up things on the field. That's the only other way to get these kind of orbs. So we're going to pick the first guy here. There's no difference in difficulty between them either. Just because he drops small orbs doesn't mean he's like any weaker or stronger than the other ones. They all have 3 bars of health, and they all do the exact same things, and they're all the exact same types. Alright, great. So now we assume that you've done your 3 for the day. If you're curious how many orbs you have, all you have to do is click Bulma and click your second to last option. You'll see right here, oh look at that, you have a rainbow of orbs available to you, or the kind you just did for the day typically. Jumping back in. Now go ahead and take a little click on the new guru icon. It's so shiny. And you'll notice the calm elevator music all of a sudden. That means you're suddenly here, in the sphere grid. It's either that or we've just been transported back to Final Fantasy X, one of the two. I'm going to zoom out here to kind of give you an example of how big the sphere grid actually can be. So we're zoomed out as far as we possibly can be. And you may notice there's a lot of flashing stars, a lot of colors, there's constellations, it's the universe. It's like, wow, this is a little overwhelming. And yes, at first glance it can be. But before we overwhelm ourselves, we're going to zoom back in to make this a little less just, wow, that's big. Now, we're back here at the starting icon. You're going to see this is where all characters start actually. Not every character has the exact same abilities available to them, but all characters follow the exact same sphere grid. What I mean by that is the abilities they can choose from may be different, but the tree itself is the same for every character in the game. So, first things first, we need to go over and explain what these icons are and what they do. Beginning with the fodder slots. What I mean by fodder slots is this is what you will be spending the grand majority of your orbs on all the time. The red fist increases your attack. The blue armor increases your defense. The light blue heart increases your HP. You'll notice by me scrolling here, they're everywhere. They're all over the place, and they are exactly what you'll be spending the grand majority of your orbs on. But outside of those, we're going to move on to the next tier. The 4 that I like to call, well, we could just call them the medium tier. Medium tier abilities are abilities you can encounter anywhere on the map that do not need a prerequisite first. Starting off is Goku with his fist going, oh yeah. What that means is, anytime you have type advantage on somebody, you will do additional damage. So, red on orange now means you're doing even more damage than you would have done before. Next is Goku blocking. I don't want to get hurt, man. This Goku is the reverse of what I just said. So if you had type advantage of someone smacking you, now you take even less damage. So this kind of ability, for example, like in Janemba of all things, is incredible. Next up is the one that is probably the most obvious of all. It might as well just be an Elder Kai. It's SA up, basically. Your ultimate attacks do more damage, so this is a pretty popular choice. And lastly is Goku with the tip of his hair shining. What this one means is the amount of HP you regen by collecting orbs of the same type means you gain more HP back. It's a very niche choice, but it can be popular for certain characters such as Buhan. Lastly comes the high tier. I call them high tier because these are the three that are typically always locked by dupe requirements. The very first one is a double fist. The double fist means a chance of double attack. So you attack once, your character has a chance of attacking again that turn. The next one is critical. What critical means is when you hit a character, let's say they had type advantage on you. So you're orange hitting red. If your orange hit that red for a critical, not only do you negate that type advantage, but you still do full damage. So it's a pretty popular choice as well. And lastly is the shadow step looking dude. What this is dodge. So you have an attack coming at you, your character has a chance of, I don't want to get hit this turn, and dodging the attack completely. Now you may recall before we farmed orbs, there was a reason for farming those orbs, as moving along the spear grid, as you can tell, isn't free. We're going to use an example I've set up over here. This Frieza slot has not been taken yet. By me clicking on it, a list will appear. The top one is small orbs. You need 10. I have 739. The medium one, 10. I have 191. And the large one, 1. I have 12. As you can tell by small, medium, and large, typically the harder or rarer it is to obtain, the less you'll need. By clicking accept and spending it, you spend the amount, you gain the ability. So we just gained 49 attack to my full power Frieza. Simple. We're going to scroll back to the middle again. Now, I did mention prerequisites before, because as if you recall, when this came out in Japan, this used to be called the dupe system, and there's a reason for that. We're going to now look at the top right of the screen here. You're going to notice I have 2 blue circles. They're both colored in blue. 1 gray circle with a lock in it, and 1 gray circle without a lock in it. And this is also done purposely for this video. I'm going to click a blue circle. This is going to come to this giant heart. What this is, that means I use the dupe full power Frieza to unlock this slot. By unlocking this slot, this now grants me access, as we scroll here, to this top left ability. All these abilities are now available to me to learn. Until you learn this, this is locked to you. Every character has 4 of these, so in total you'll need 4 exact dupes of a character to unlock a tree fully. Elder Kais don't count here. Now we're going to scroll again back to the middle. Now back in the middle, I'm going to click the lock. By clicking the lock, as you see, it takes me over here to a picture of my Dokkan full power Frieza. As I just explained earlier where the heart was, if I had not completed that slot, this lock would be in the way. As you notice, none of the abilities here are taken. I can't do anything here because he is locked away from me. Now scrolling back to the middle one more time, I'm now going to click on the lock that is gray and not blue, which means while I have used a dupe to unlock this slot, I haven't reached the area yet. As you can see, since the line connecting it isn't there yet, I can't learn it. So once it's there, it's available to me, but until then, even if you try clicking on it, nothing will happen. Now I'm going to have to explain to you exactly what it means by dupes. We're going to hop out of the Guru screen now. Now you'll see they added the Whis icon as well, and this is exactly what the Whis icon was added for, something called reversal. We're going to click on Whis, and you're going to notice that there's a number here. This number is the exact amount of URs you have available to you to reverse. So any cards you have Dokkaned or something that's like a new form that it wasn't before, you'll be able to basically take back in time. We're going to click this. And if you noticed, I set my physical characters here. As you notice, all the physical characters here are Dokkan characters. These all are a form past what they were before. So this is not including cards that you just basically awoken into a UR. It's all cards that you awoke into a UR, then Dokkan further. So we're going to rewind time. I'm going to click on my Frieza here, and I'm going to scroll down. You'll notice that it costs me one little hourglass icon. I have 5 available to me. I'm going to click yes. And now my Frieza is pre-Dokkan to how you would see when if you pulled him and then awakened him. Also, one thing to notice too, you notice his stats are intact. This is done purposely. You do not have to reawaken him, you don't have to spend anything, you don't have to like re-level him. All this is done is to reverse time so you can break the slots needed and then go back and then reawaken him into full power Frieza. We're going to click out of him. We're going to click back, and you'll notice that there's now a 1 here. This 1 means that when I clicked on this, the one character I have awaiting me is full power Frieza. So when I'm done, all I have to do is scroll down here and click the red button. By clicking this button here, you'll notice my Frieza I just had previously is ready to be reawakened back into. I don't have to do anything, spend anything. The only thing that this cost me was an hourglass medal. So we're going to scroll back again, and go here to Guru. Now that we're back at Guru, you'll notice that my Frieza is the form he was previously. Now you'll notice that this icon's flashing. The flashing icon means I have a dupe available to me to awaken. I'm going to click this icon, click Frieza, and this is going to tell you the exact stats that are available when you open this slot. They won't be available to you to learn by doing this. You'll still have to go to the slot and learn it, but it's telling you what will happen when you do this. Now I click on this little icon and it shows you the dupes I have available. The Frieza I'm using, obviously, is not selectable. There's 2 full power Friezas here. I'm going to click 1 and use him. By using this, I've now lost that full power Frieza. He's no longer available to me. I can't use him for anything. He may as well be gone. But the slot is now open to me. I can click it. As before, it tells you the stats you could have learned. You say OK, and boom. You've now learned the slot, and all of these icons are now available to you. Awesome. Seemed easy, right? Good. Now let's go back to the middle again. Now, before we reawaken our Frieza back to his UR form, there's a couple of extra things here now. Now, by unlocking those dupe slots, you'll notice how I mentioned high tier before and how I said they were locked behind prerequisites. That typically means that those 3 abilities were only available behind doors that were locked by a prerequisite dupe. On the top left here, on this little scroll that we're going through, you'll see here that there's a double attack icon. This icon on the top left was not blocked by any dupe prerequisite, and as you recall me saying earlier, every skill tree is the exact same. While this ability may not always be double attack here, it will always be a high tier icon, that or something very great. And it's only on the top left tier that this one ability without a dupe is available to you. So if you have a card that has no dupes, or it's someone that's very strong and you may not have a dupe for a while, I recommend at least always starting at the top left first to get your one ability here. Now, we're going to scroll again to the middle. Now they have this set up in a way that they're telling you the top right is physical based attack, so attack based units. The top left is HP based units. The bottom left is defense based units. And the bottom right is SA based units. And that's the new thing that I'm now going to teach you. So we're going to click on the flashing heart now. You're going to see that available, I have the 10 orbs and the 5 orbs needed to level, but I can't learn it. It's grayed out to me. That's because in yellow here, you'll see it says level 2, but in red, level 1. The full power Frieza we're using in this example only has an SA of level 1. So I can't progress in the bottom right tree because the SA requirement isn't available to me. And as I said before, all characters follow the same tree. So for every character in the game, their bottom right tree is an SA level based tree. It is in fact the strongest tree to go down. As you can imagine, because of this, it is also the most difficult tree to progress down because that requirement will go all the way up to SA 10. This ability here, while it only needs an SA of 2, further down the tree, it could require an SA up to 4. And even further along, if you manage to break the dupe lock in the SA level tree, it'll go even higher. This one needs 6, all the way up to 10. Now, we're going to go back to the middle one more time. Now that you have a pretty good understanding of at least the basics of the dupe tree, there's one final thing I'm going to go over. We're going to choose the SA tree that I can't go down currently. Scrolling further here, you're going to see these blank slots. You'll notice that there's 2 options in these. These are called choice slots, so when you come to them, you will pick one of the 2 you want. In this example here, I could either choose double attack or critical, and it'll go up by 3 levels. You'll notice they're all over down here in the SA tree. But they're also available on all the other trees, just not in quite so much of abundance. Noticing the star on this SA increase icon, I click on it. This means I've chosen already the ability I wanted on this tree. So if you're ever curious which ones were a choice, just look for the star next to it. Now, I picked an SA up +5, so I'm like, okay, that's cool. But let's say I wanted to switch it. Like, now I want the increased damage of type advantage. So to do this, I'm going to have to click OK. Now there's 2 ways of doing this. It's going to offer you a choice. I can either use 10 Dragon Stones or another dupe. If you have either available to you, you can use these to then change it. This is why it's very, very important you choose what you want and kind of stick to it, because you really don't want to be using a dupe of a character or even 10 Dragon Stones just to change a choice. And I'm not going to do it here either. But let's say I did and I clicked OK. The same option appears to me. Oh look, the Frieza from availables to like he's here for me to choose from. I'm not going to use him, but if I wanted to, I click him, and now I learn the other one. Great. Now that the mysteries of the Spirit Grid are finally out of the way, we're going to go back. We're going to go click on Whis, and we're going to go reawaken the Frieza. By clicking on him, as you recall me mentioning earlier, we would click on the red option. By clicking this, my full power Frieza now returns to his Dokkan form at level 120, full stats and everything. Clicking back. Now there's one final thing we have to do. You may have been wondering earlier, well, where do I get the hourglass icon to reverse Frieza? We're going to click on the Dragonstone icon. We're going to click on Baba Shop. Go to her 3rd tab. As you can see the top right, the 3rd one's highlighted. You're going to scroll down through most of the shop's accessories. As you can see, there's an hourglass icon here available for the current battlefield medals. Scrolling further. If you guys actually haven't seen it, a friend of ours, Day Mayo, has a perfect little outline available for an updated 3rd tier Baba Shop, and I recommend looking at that sometime because it is incredible. Because as you can see, the constant scrolling can get very, very irritating. But once this hits global, it will probably be available right here for you. As you can see for the gemstones available in story mode, they'll cost you about 30. So it's 30 per hourglass icon, which isn't much, but if you have a lot of characters to do, this could start taking a fair amount of your resources. But if you're ever curious where to find the hourglass icons, they'll typically be here in the 3rd slot for all sorts of currencies. Alright, let's head back to the main screen. And guys, that's going to do it for us here. I hope you guys enjoyed this little ability tree 101, and I hope actually this kind of helps mostly global players just kind of get a little bit more of a head start than we had. This kind of got dropped on us very blind, and we kind of had to learn this as we go. So thankfully, if it being in English as well, it will probably be easier overall. But just in case, kind of use this as a way of just knowing what to expect and maybe kind of go in there with a better understanding of what we did. And with that, I wish you a good day. You all take it easy now.